When you get through challenges, suffering after suffering after suffering, you get to make a choice every single time. Every single time that something hits you, you get to make the choice of either getting closer to Christ and letting Him taking care of that for you, or you're getting deeper into the end of it. And a lot of people, usually they choose the latter. They choose the latter because they feel like they have no strength and they just want to give up. When it's too hard, you just want to give up. Because by giving up, the idea behind it is to stop the suffering. The idea is to stop the suffering as much as you can. If you get to have, let's say, a magic wand to stop that negative feeling, you would use it right there. That's how we are so much with the suffering. And during this Lent, I use Halo. I talked about that application because for me, it's like the best app ever, especially for us Catholics. If you really want to get more discipline into your prayer life and just the meditation exercises, a lot of things that you can do. I feel like Halo is just the best. I'm not getting paid for that. They're just really good. They are sharing the life of Takashi Nagai, a physician that lived during the Nagasaki bombing and was living there. And to sum it up, he lost a lot of things. When he started studying, he was not believing in God. Then he started believing in God. And through that, he lost a lot of dear people. And instead of letting and giving it up, he felt the grace of God, telling him that everything was going to be okay. He felt the peace. He shared a lot of details about the bombing in Nagasaki because that's where he was living. At that point, when it happened, he had a wife, Midori. And when the bombing happened, he was at university and he was so worried because it was just the panic. And a lot of people were dying. A lot of people were hurt. He was hurt himself. And he had leukemia at that point too. Everything was just bad. He saw the rest of the house, pretty much. And he was able to find the body of his wife. And she was holding the rosary. She was praying up until her last second of living. He saw the mess. He saw his wife. He felt the pain. The pain was so big. The pain was so deep. He passed out. It was too much for him to handle. When he woke up from passing out, he felt the peace of God. He felt the grace of God telling him that it was going to be okay, saying it was going to be okay. And you just have to picture somebody that is going through something so atrocious, because Nagasaki, it was such a tragedy. It was terrible. You have so many ways after losing so much to hate the entire world, to hate the entire nations, to hate God. Actually, don't want to do anything with God anymore, because if you get into the logic of when you with God, you're safe, which is the case because you're going to be the safest close to Him, and things like that happen to you, it's so confusing to you that if you don't have that grace of God to understand and comprehend the love that He has for you deeper than those suffering, that the journey here on this earth is something that is temporary. It was always meant to be temporary. And that the true rest, the true place of rest, comfort, love, peace is with God in heaven. That here is for you to get prepared for something that is higher, regardless of the challenges, the hate, the tragedies, the drama that you're going to get through. When you start to asking for God's grace, He's going to give it to you. And in the most horrible, atrocious story, you're going to find the hand of God always, even if you don't see that yourself. And it's at that moment that you start making a choice. What do I do with that? Do I get more bitter? Do I get more angry with the world? Do I start hating everybody? Do I start hating nations? White people, black people, Asian people? Do I have to blame people for me to feel better, to get better? Is it a long-term strategy? Those are questions that you should start asking yourself when you get through those things. And all of us, we all have it. We all have our own crosses we have to bear all the time. And when you get up in the morning and when you're facing something that is so harsh, sometimes the first reaction is going to be indeed to blame God and be like, what is going on here? I thought we were good. Like, I'm praying every day. I'm being faithful every day. I'm taking care of my family. I'm taking care of my husband. I'm taking care of my kids. I'm taking care of my mom. I'm doing all those things. Why is it happening to me? I know an old friend. We went to high school together. He has a channel where he talks about R&B, and he lives in France. I really like the channel. And I remember when we grew up, when we were at school, and how he was as a person. And it's such a, I would say, a great change, the way that I see him now and how he grew up and how he used everything that was happening back then to something greater. He lost his mom pretty young. I think we were still in Cameroon. If I remember, she got sick, and he prayed for months and months for the ultimate things not happen, her not dying, because you're never ready for that, especially when you're younger. In high school, it's something that is it's so hard to comprehend in general, even for adults, let alone you being a kid. Let alone you being a teenager, when you feel like you still need your mom and you need your mom all the time, and you're just not ready for that. You're not ready for that kind of things to happen. And he prayed for months and months. She still died. And the position that he has today is that he can't be a Christian anymore because he prayed for that and God gave up on him. And that's his story. He had that distrust around God and believing that he was a good God. That was hard to hear because you know the love of God for us. You know that he will never do anything to make us be hurt or get hurt. But again, the ultimate journey is in heaven, close to him, and not here on earth. And when you don't get comprehend it, you get more distant. And you start distrusting God and the God love for you. So that's what he did. And him not being a Christian anymore is because of that. There's that fear behind getting back to it and praying for things to happen and maybe not getting them. And to that, I want to say God is not Santa Claus. And maybe it's difficult to say that, or it might feel or sound harsh to say it, but sometimes, or most of the time, it's not your wish, it's the will of God ultimately. So you may want a lot of money, but that's not what God wants for you, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be unhappy about it. You're going to be unhappy because of the wish that you made, not because of what He's going to give to you, because ultimately what He's going to give to you is going to be greater than whatever you thought about wanting to have, and any wish that you wanted to have. Anything. It's going to be a lot greater than that. But you can't see that because you're going to be so focused on something that you really wanted, and it just didn't happen that way. And that was him. That's still him today. You want to pray for people like that. And then you think about Brett Cooper that have had a lot of tragedies happening too. And she chose to use that as a fuel. She chose to use that as an energy that she could feed up on and be stronger and be better, because she was not living for her anymore. She was living for her and him, for her brother.